The other lookout's out on there.
I'm surprised what I meant for them.
Have you been out here in hectic Waterfall? I don't think it's going to make the trip. It gets rougher than this. It's already halfway wound itself out again. It's already wound out like 4 turns again. Getting worse and worse. It's like, look. And now we're just going for a bit of a weekday run. Well, it looks like it's been freshly graded. Blocked it off. You used to be able to ride up there to the lookout, and there's been a gate on this for like a year, and people kept ripping it out. Now they've just given up and gone. Yeah, I know. There's a little lookout back there.
still struggling with me busted up ankle. Oh.
Yeah. How bad did you break it?
I don't know, I never went to the doctor.
Yeah, you're like me. I went to the hospital once when I broke 4 ribs in 2018 because they were all around my back and side and chest near my heart, and I felt like I was having a heart attack. And they're like, oh, it's just fractured ribs. And I'm like, alright, bye. The other lookout's out on there, on that point. But on the other side, looking north. A bloke who I know, he's like 63. He's grown up here. He said there's a track that goes down off the side of this little strip of road we just turned into, that goes down and goes all the way out to Toloa or whatever near Sassafras.
Oh, yeah.
The Drover's Ridge Trail it is now. Neil's got his mojo back, he's going for it. I'm riding too slow for him. He's cold. Nothing better than finding your rhythm and just going for it. Whoosh. Whee.
Surprises on them corners.
That's why I was going slow. There's a couple little tracks they hook in, and then I went to one, and then I could see like a gap through the bushes and what looked like a car park, and I rode in, seen this tractor just drops off of all these big boulders, and then I saw something hanging on the tree, and I rode up and looked at it and it says private property. I'm like, think I might leave now. Yeah. I was on the other side of the private property sign by like 50 metres.
Gets around if you're on that, in that Hyundai XL on a Suzuki chassis.
Yeah?
He lives along here.
Does he?
He's got property along here.
It's probably in there then, because I've heard everyone talks about in the Waterfall drive page, there's one section where you can ride, but it's private property and the owners gets the shits, and I think that's it just here. Yeah, look, there's the sign there. So white one through the trees. But I came in on another track.
How's all your tower holding together, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Pretty much how it felt when I bolted it together. No rattles or squeaks. I'll tell you one thing I did notice yesterday that I didn't even factor in until I rode it is that I need to put a rubber and isolation damper on the headlight. I was watching the street signs and I was riding home yesterday and I could just see a headlight go, and then I realised there's 2 rubber mounts in the triple clamp and there's 2 rubber bolts going through here onto the blinker mounts that I took off. So I'm going to have to rectify that somehow. The question is, do I try and isolate the tower or do I just try and put a rubber block and an oversized hole where it bolts to the flange where the headlight goes on? And do I bother with the spotlight, because it was an absolute bitch to get to mount in there and fit without the screen tilted too far forward. Yeah, I don't know, I'll figure it out.
Right, the Meccano set.
Oh, it is, man. If you don't put it together in the right
sequence.
Yeah, it doesn't go together properly. But that's what happens in your prototype shit.
Well, that's right. That's exactly it. And it's the sort of thing that'll be a pain in the ass if I was going to change it.
Yeah.
You could do it in your sleep.
Yeah, I've taken it on and off about 150 times, man. No shit, not even joking. And then I've ridden it 4 or 5 times and swapped the front, swap it back, and swap the front, swap it back, swap the front, swap it back, and then I'm like, after the last ride, I'm like, that's it. I'm not swapping it again till I get this thing finished. I was thinking, do the little palm bit, come to the highway, and if you're still keen to ride, we can go, remember that where we camped? So when you go up to that lookout, if you turn left as before, it goes downhill, there's a creek crossing at the bottom, there's another little track that comes around a loop, there's a whole bunch of little roads in that whole area where we ride, where we haven't really been down. Yeah, alright. Do you need fuel? No?
No, not for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Alright. Alright, transport section's over. Hit the first little bit of dirt. Got a loose bolt on my tower. One of the Honda factory bolts, I just did it up and undid it too many times, and the head's a little bit stripped, so as soon as it nips up it just starts to pop out and you can't fully tighten it, so my tower's got a bit of a wobble on, but it should hold together. Still closed. Did you see, just as we started Can't Hill, there's a left hand fork?
Yeah.
You been down there?
No.
Yeah, that's whalebone. It's pretty rough down there. You feeling alright?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, let's go.
What's getting me at the moment is if I'm in too high gear and trying to pull the front wheel, I can feel that pull.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm ready to go slide this thing down the road and pick it up a couple of times.
I'll be going slow on this next bit.
Okay.
Good reason why you take it very easy down this gravel slippery hill. because it keeps going a lot further down than where I am.
Up that whalebone?
Yeah, have you been out here?
No, what's in here?
Like a 600 metre walk or something, but it's like a hectic waterfall, and you come out at a platform right next to it. It's just like, and I haven't seen it flowing in years, so I figured it'd probably be wet now.
What's up?
It's going.
Just in time to fly, mate.
Quick stop in and have a look at Granite Falls. Then we're going to go up and hit Whalebone, but I'm a bit worried. The bolt's almost backed itself out twice in the last like an hour of riding, and I think I'm going to have to take it really bloody easy from now on. No ploughing through shit. I don't think it's going to make this trip. It gets rougher than this. It's already halfway wound itself out again.
Oh, well, call it, mate.
Yeah, I think it's this track. It gets rougher and rougher and rougher, this track, and then when you come out the other end, it starts to smooth up again. There's always a lot of trees down here too.
How long does it go for?
Goes down, it splits off, goes to Controller Creek Road. Controller Creek Road does a loop, and I've never been down. We went down once and I got stuck. We couldn't get past a log. I lifted it over Joel, but he couldn't lift it while I rode under it, and we couldn't move it. Then if you go the other way, it goes out, you know, Martin Ridge Road off the highway. Yeah. It comes out there.
How many k's do you reckon that is?
Oh.
Compared to how many k's going back and through there is?
And the other way you go is you go down Deodar Road, and that loops and goes through a whole bunch of rocky creek crossings. It's pretty rough. Put it this way, it's another hour of riding to get out of here that way.
I find a balance between the smoothest and the shortest sort of thing, you know.
No, I think going back up that way is way better, because it's not going to stay in there. I'm going to have to stop every 50 metres at this pace.
So we'll head up the top of the hill, mate, give it another pinch up. And
It's already wound out about 8 turns. What?
Might have to do it here, eh?
Yeah, I want to ride this. I'm stinging it. It's really fun. It's
Yeah, it looks nice so far.
pretty technical, but it's not not full on, but it's the type of place that you'd ride your bike if you wanted to rattle bolts loose to see if it'd give it a shakedown. Turning around because my bolt just keeps winding out. We made it about 500 metres and that was it. And the thing was already headbanging like it was at a metal concert. I literally rode a few hundred metres and it was already all over the shop, and I pulled up and it was about 6 turns of the bolt already out. So I'm just going to have to putt it home. And going that way is a good hour of riding really rough ground. So it ain't going to last. I'm going to be pulling up every 5 minutes to bloody retighten the bolt, which is unfortunate, but at least I've done a bit of a shakedown and I know what's what. I think I just went the wrong way. It's alright, cross again here. Isn't it done up? Is it flopping around a bit? Wow, only 2 turns this time.
That's how it's got to be, that's how it's got to be, mate.
Yeah, true. Oh well, that was pretty fun, and nonetheless, it's a pretty good ride considering we've hardly gone anywhere. Oh, we did a little bit. We did a regular loop and then we added a bit to the end. It does. It's already wound out like 4 turns again.
Find this road stuff takes it up to the top of the wind.
Yeah, that's where I first noticed it. I was driving it under and it was going whoa, whoa, whoa. Every little wave in the road, the thing was wobbling. getting worse and worse. It's like going like this now. Look, something's not right.
Duct tape for
Alright, so I've had to pull over at one Banyan and wedge a stick in the bottom of my bracket because I found a design flaw in it. There's too much fulcrum weight hanging off the tower and it broke the bracket. So not only are the bottom bolts coming loose, but the top bolts are no longer holding it on there, so it's only held by those bottom bolts and the fairing, which is flexing a lot. So we wedged the stick in the little gap between the frame, and then I had a quick look at the design of the Rebel X1 and I missed a crucial component. There was a small curve in the bottom half of the bracket which actually rests against the bottom end of the steering stem part of the frame. There's a flare and the bracket rests against that flare and keeps the weight resting on the actual frame, so it's not all pivoting just off the top. The bolts pull it rearward into the front of the frame, but the weight is all resting on that little flare. So I'm gonna have to rebuild the bracket, which is easy enough, but I beat the shit out of it today. Like properly beat the shit out of it on some pretty rough roads. I putted around yesterday and the day before and just did a little bit of easy stuff, but today I took it out and rode it as per usual and give it a bit of a beating over. Hit all the potholes and hit all the rocks and everything like that, and just found a shortfall in my design. And that was kind of the plan. It was a shakedown. Well, all the ride's going to be a shakedown until I can take it for a good solid couple of days of riding without anything needing tweaking, adjustment or stopping it from falling apart. So luckily I pulled up because it was about to fall off, or it was about to be held on by one tight screw, and probably would have flapped and fell off into my front wheel and caused a whole bunch of, that's going to hurt. And somehow my wiring's come undone too for my right indicator, which isn't ideal either. So we had a fair bit of wobble on the tower yesterday, midway down the roughest part of the ride, which has had a fair few rock steps and boulders and washouts and a whole bunch of bounce, bounce, bang, bang. My design doesn't quite work. It does, but the design I copied it from, that actually cups in and touches down on the frame. We actually had to wedge a stick into that small little gap there to get home. Back to the drawing board. She didn't like that design. You have to come up with something much stronger than that. Version 2.0 changed the design, made it a bit beefier. I'm gonna have to pack in behind here to the frame to make sure there's no space for any play. I've changed the bolts and the sides to something deeper threaded with a better head that can tighten properly, and then I can Loctite everything. Alright, we've gone for the redesign. Put a big, I don't know what you'd call it, like a gusset or something like that. You can see in the top corner of the tower there, that you can see that. I made that much thicker where it mounts to the bike. It's the failure point on this one that I replaced. I made it way too thin. I carved it in thinking I needed the clearance for the ignition barrel to sweep past when you turn the handlebars, but I only really needed to shave a small part off this side where the barrel comes past, and I left a big gusset running on an angle from this point to this point, so it's much stronger now. And I've also packed in behind, got an old suspension bush and I gave it a chop and I wedged it in behind, and I also made it less of an angle on this bottom part here. I left clearance before and now I have it touching wedged against it. Everything should work much better now. It should be stronger. We'll take it for another beating and see if it holds up.